Champions are not born. They're forged. This is about turning the ordinary into undisputed. Available now. Ade Oladipo, brought to you by Undisputed.
Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. We haven't done a vid in ages. My apologies, people. I've just been super busy. But what that does mean, on a positive note, is that there's quite a lot to talk about. So this could be a long video. Before we get going, just a reminder, this video is brought to you by the wonderful people at Undisputed. The new Mexican Monster Pack is now available to download. Just go to playundisputed.com. All right, a couple of quick things before we get into the video. Very quickly, the Look Back episode 4 is up now. Please go and give it a watch. This is the best one yet. I ain't lying. This is the best one yet. Dillian Whyte versus Derek Chisora 1, December 2016. It was brutal. Honestly, it was one of the most violent heavyweight fights, just violent fights I've seen in a long time. And me and G-Man certainly did it justice. I'll put the link up here somewhere. Please go and watch it, like it, share it, all the things you guys normally do. Thank you very much. Ade and G-Man episode 26 is up as well. It's a good one. We do talk about Boxer quite a lot. I'm going to talk about Boxer on this video. There are still some tickets available for my live show, September 4th, King's Place in London. The show will be about 90 minutes long, and I'm trying my best to assemble the best guest list possible. Like possible. We'll see if I can pull it off. But regardless, I will be there, which is enough, I hope. Again, tickets are still available. The link is in the description. And we are fast approaching 90,000 subs. I think by the time you guys watch this video, we'll be on 90,000. Incredible. So we're 10,000 away, in my head at least, from 100,000 and that plaque. Crazy, crazy. And finally, a few of you have been asking what's going on with Car Diaries. What's going on with my car is the question. My car's been in the mechanics for like a couple of weeks. Remember I said that someone hit the back of it. So that's just getting sorted. As soon as that comes back, we're back. And I've got a lot to talk about on Car Diaries. All right, let's get into this. I've wrote some subjects down just so I don't miss out on anything, because again, we've not done a video in ages. Joshua Buatsi has signed with Queensberry, thus leaving Boxer. I say leaving Boxer, his contract was up after that final fight against Callum Smith back in February. I don't know if there was any sort of renegotiation conversation, but he has decided to join Queensberry. Yeah, I mean, look, Frank Warren's got one of the most incredible stable. This is probably, I mean, I can't remember Frank's stables 20 years ago, but I mean, it would be a hard push to say this is not the best stable he's ever had. Like ever. We're going to talk about Tony Yoka joining that stable as well. I mean, just the heavyweights. Like, if you go down the list of the top 15 heavyweights, Frank must have 10 of them. Honestly, it's incredible. So, Buatsi's not doing a bad thing in signing for Frank Warren. Obviously, Anthony Yard is there. But aside from that, Frank can obviously make fights for Riyadh season. Frank can make fights with Eddie. Frank can make fights with Eddie Hearn. So, I mean, if you're Buatsi, I mean, it's not a bad thing signing with Frank Warren. I guess the bigger question around this is what's going on with Boxer. Like, what's going? Ben Shalom's been kind of radio silent. I was going to reach out to him, but I think he's got bigger things to deal with than me trying to phone and find out what's happening. He's got a lot of fighters on his stable that are big names that are going to want to know what's happening. Ben Whittaker wants to know what's happening. Adam Azim, you guys heard him the other day. He was ringside with Hamza Shiraz, and Hamza made a joke about Adam signing with Frank. And Adam didn't shut that down, did he? Didn't shut that down. Fraser Clark, right? Fraser Clark wants to fight Jimmy TKV. I mean, what's going on? Is it on Boxer? Caroline Dubois? Like, what's happening? And there are a number of other fighters as well, top fights. Callum Simpson, who we all know is a massive ticket seller and on the cusp of sort of kicking the door down to world title contention. These are all big name fighters that want to know what's going on. Is he going to DAZN, which kind of makes sense? I don't know. You know, with conversations like Boxer going to DAZN, it isn't just that easy. I mean, he would go to DAZN and say, okay, how much are you going to give me? And he's no way going to get the same type of deal or the same type of number of dates as Eddie and Frank. So he might go elsewhere. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about BBC iPlayer. I don't know if that works. Obviously, we're seeing right now Amazon are putting on fights, Netflix. So there are options out there, but I guess Ben's going to have to get a move on because his fighters are going to get itchy feet. They're going to be like, okay, what's going on? And I mean, there will be phone calls from managers to other promoters and broadcasters that Ben's not going to want to know about that are happening. Surely they're happening. But yeah, for now, Boatsi has gone. I was in Bournemouth on the weekend. Feels like ages ago. I was there. The main event was Ryan Garner versus Reece Bellotti. Very impressed with Ryan Garner, particularly in the second half of the fight. Reece Bellotti's tough. Reece Bellotti's had this Indian summer, right? Where since that Raymond Ford defeat, he's looked really good. And Ryan Garner just showed that there is a level. And I tweeted this. I said, there are so many levels in boxing. It's insane. Like so many. Especially when you get to like European world level. And then the gaps just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And Reece Bellotti in the last sort of 3 or 4 fights has shown that he's, I think, above British level and maybe just touching European. Whereas Ryan Garner's maybe just touching world. And the chasm between those two was obvious. I mean, I like Reece a lot. And I think Reece, if he wants to, can rebuild and come again. But if you're Reece, I guess the dream was to kick that door down to fight sort of world level guys. And it probably won't be realised. Whereas if you're Ryan Garner, you've got the British, the Commonwealth, the European, your WBC International. The next step could be a world level fight. But they do have to be very careful with how they match him because there are still holes there. And you look at sort of what is world level right now, and it's Shaki Foster, it's Raymond Ford, it's Antti Kakache, it's Navarrete, it's Sugar Nunes, it's Angelo Leo. Dude, they call him the Piranha. I mean, there are sharks in the super featherweight division. Sharks, so they do need to be careful with him. Alois Jr. versus Ellis Zoro. I thought Ellis was unlucky not to nick it. I mean, I sometimes question how I score fights. Sometimes I'm not fully watching a fight. But that one I did pay attention to. And I was like, yeah, Alois is going to need to nick the last couple of rounds. And I don't know if he did. I actually reached out to Ellis and said, dude, like, head up. Although it's a defeat on the record books, it's a win. Because, I mean, there are questions. A lot of people thought Ellis was going to get knocked out. And he didn't. So sometimes you can give people rounds because they're doing better than you expected as opposed to winning. But I thought Ellis was winning. So I wonder if they do it again. Probably not. But I do wonder if they kind of maybe pump the brakes a little bit on Alois. Like, let's not rush him. He's a young kid. He's only 22. Let's not throw him to the wolves yet. I think he's still a couple of fights away from Vidal Riley. He might not get there. In a couple of fights' time, I think Vidal Riley might be on the world scene. But that's not a problem. He can be the best of Britain at 24, 25, and then chase Vidal to the world scene eventually later. All right. Before I talk about other subjects, and I have got here Clarissa Shields I want to talk about. She came for me, people. She came for me. Boots Ennis versus Josh Kelly. I want to talk about Dave Allen versus Arslan Bekmambetov. We'll get to that. But the main subject, what you guys are tuning in for, is Anthony Joshua versus Tony Yoka. Is it a real thing? I think the answer, very simply, is yes. It is a real thing. How real? I think quite real. So on the scale of will it happen, won't it happen, I'm here. I'm in the camp of it probably will happen for a couple of reasons. Number one, look, when Spencer Oliver mentioned it the other day, I was on the show with Spencer, Talk Boxing. It was me, Spencer, Simon Jordan, Duke McKenzie. And when Spencer said it the other day, I was like, whatever. Like, honestly, I didn't even pay attention to it, hence why I didn't do a video about it. Everyone did videos about it. I was like, because I poo-pooed on it. And I poo-pooed on it because, for me, at the time, it didn't make sense. You know, I've always been this thing with AJ, and you guys know my relationship with AJ. But I've always been like, AJ needs to know if he still got it. Right? And it's a difficult thing. But I think AJ needs to know. I don't know if you know by fighting Tony Yoka. So that's always been my thing. That's why I've always kind of said Bakoli. Because if you ice Bakoli, I think you know. You know, we know, the world knows, everyone knows. You ice Tony Yoka, we still don't know. But what they're trying to build this up as, or what I think they will build this up as, is a warm-up fight for Tyson Fury. Now, I'm tired of that shit, if I'm honest with you. And look, I'm saying this as someone that'll probably work on the events. I've got to be careful, but I'm tired of the rolling the dice thing. Like, we've done this so many times, and your numbers don't always come up. They don't. This is heavyweight boxing. Anyone can get fucking chinned by anyone, apart from Usyk. So I don't understand what we're doing. Just make AJ Fury. Just do it. But obviously, look, we are... And now, with Tony Yoka signing for Queensberry, you can kind of see what's going on behind the scenes. Queensberry and Matchroom now have a relationship. I mean, this fight can now be made. It could have been made before, but now I think we're even closer to it being made. So that's why I feel like it could happen. AJ wants a fight. Eddie Hearn has spoken so many times in the last couple of weeks. I saw him do a lot of media in Ireland about AJ wanting to fight November, December, and it being billed as not Eddie, but I think some people build it as a warm-up. And maybe Tony Yoka falls into that. I think Tony Yoka is quite risky as a warm-up. So I don't know if the risk outweighs the reward here. I know AJ's been out the ring it'll be a year in September. But can't you just make Fury AJ in December? Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? And then, say someone gets injured. Not even that. You don't have to go down the injury route. Like, why do we keep having these, like, okay, we'll do this and then we'll do this. No, just do this. Just do this. Just make AJ Fury. I can't believe, honestly, it blows my mind. I can't believe that we've not had AJ Fury. It's criminal. Honestly, it's criminal. Like, this is becoming worse than Mayweather Pacquiao. Like Frank and Eddie now talk. Like, before, it's like, okay, they're their two charges, right? They're their two breadwinners. They're the biggest for their companies, and they didn't talk. So it kind of made it awkward. It must have. A bit like when Eddie was trying to make the fight with Wilder, and there was an issue with Eddie and Shelley Finkel. So I could understand, even though I still think it's stupid, how it was difficult to make that fight before. And now you have the extra addition of Turkey. So now all of a sudden, you've got an extra player who certainly wants to make the fight, who's, I'm guessing, don't know if this is true, just my own thing, willing to chuck a bag to both. Like, guys, let's do this. And we're still doing warm-up fights? I don't get it. But I would now, again, I'm leaning towards that AJ will probably fight Tony Yoka. Yeah. Don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Like, who's Tony Yoka fought recently? I think Tony Yoka's trained by Don Charles, or at least he was for a while. I remember seeing Yoka at an event with Don. Let's have a look at Yoka's recent performances. 33 now, Yoka. Three wins in a row against a guy that was 8-15, a guy that was 3-7, then Arslan Yalev, who was 16-0. Before that, there was 3 defeats in a row. Those defeats to Martin Bakole, Carlos Takam, and Riyad Mary. So he's certainly had to rebuild mentally as well. I was at one stage high on him. Not super high on Yoka. Well, I'm not high on Yoka anymore, but there was a time when I was like, geez, Yoka, that guy. It's just not. He was trained by Virgil Hunter as well for a period. I don't know, man. I don't know. Look, we'll see. We're going to find out soon with AJ. If AJ wants to fight in November and now we're in July, there's going to be an announcement in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So either we're very wrong and AJ just goes in with someone big, or AJ has, again, a warm-up fight. Dave Allen, I was all over the place there. Dave Allen isn't having a warm-up fight. Dave Allen's going in with Arslanbek Makhmudov. At least that's the word on the street, people. Dave Allen has done a few interviews. I love Dave. I think he's fantastic. But Dave Allen's done a few interviews recently, and he said that Eddie kind of put 5 fighters in front of him, and he kind of had to pick one, and he went straight for the scariest looking heavyweight to ever exist in Arslanbek Makhmudov, who prior to the Kabayal defeat, everyone was like, oh my God, this guy's scary and dangerous. Kabayal bullied him. So it's taken a lot away from Makhmudov's stock. That being said, Makhmudov's better than Johnny Fisher. So this is still most definitely a step up for Dave Allen. And if Dave Allen comes through this, it's not too dissimilar to David Adeleye. If Adeleye comes through Hrgovic, then Adelay's at the top table. if Dave Allen comes through Makhmudov, he's not at the top table, but he's very close to it. So 2 big fights for 2 Brits. I think Dave Allen's going to fight him October 11th is the date I'm hearing, and I'm guessing it's going to be in and around the Doncaster area. So good luck to Dave Allen. I saw a photo of him and Eddie. I think they just did a little gym session together. He already looks like he's losing some weight. Certainly, I think will come in a bit lighter than he has done against Johnny Fisher. Although for Makhmudov, he might need some size because Makhmudov's a big boy. Boots Ennis. I have spoken about this in Ade and Gman. Eddie has said that he's reached out to Josh Kelly's team. So that's Adam Booth. Adam Booth's his manager. And they've offered Josh Kelly the boots. So yeah, Josh Kelly the boots fight in Philadelphia. Adam Booth, I saw an interview with Ring Magazine, has come out and basically said the money's just not enough. He said a bit more than that, but ultimately he said the money's not enough and that they need an answer within 24 hours or something, Eddie and his team. I don't mind it, but I'm not screaming for it. I want to see Josh in with someone. I think Josh is a talent. I've been saying Josh is a talent, it feels like, for a decade. So we need to see something. I want to see Boots versus Virgil. I know there are other 154 pounders, but that's what I want to see. Or Boots versus Boychuk. Or Boots versus Madrimov. I'm not asking Boots to take on the champions. I'm not saying go in there against Bektemir, Melikuziev, or Findora, or even Xander Zayas now, and that would be a good fight. But I do want to see him with the guys that are maybe ranked 3, 4, 5, and 6. And Josh Kelly isn't that, is it? But look, we'll see. We'll see what Boots does. We'll see if Eddie can up the money. I don't know if Josh is a big enough name in America for Eddie to up the money and for it to pay off. Do you know what I mean? Like, Boychuk is, because Boychuk has fought the fights. So he's fought Virgil, so he's got a bit of a name. Madrimov certainly is, because Madrimov's fought Crawford and Virgil, so he's a name. Do you know what I mean? Bektemir Melikuziev might even be considered because people know he is because of the Tim Tszyu performance. So there are fighters out there that are maybe worth a bit more than Josh, but also present a lot of risk. So maybe that's the issue as well. All right, let's see what else there is on here. Terry Harper signs with MVP. Reignites Caroline Dubois food. I was going to meet Nikisa. Nikisa's in the country. He's doing the rounds. I asked him to come on Talk Sport, but he just couldn't sort of make it work. I mentioned that because obviously Nikisa is MVP. They've signed everyone. I mean, they've signed everyone. If you're a female fighter at this stage, I don't know what you're doing. Like I mentioned, boxer Lauren Price, get to MVP. At this stage, everyone should just sign with MVP. Every female boxer out there at this stage, because how are you going to make the fights unless, you know what I mean, unless you're fighting people outside of MVP, and there doesn't seem to be anyone at the moment. Honestly, I mean, the only real big name they haven't signed, big name, is Gabriela Findora, right? I mean, I know they haven't signed Katie Taylor, but she's obviously had fights with them. They seem to have everyone. Honestly, I say that. Clarissa Shields hasn't been signed yet. Clarissa Shields hasn't been signed. We're going to get to Clarissa in a second. So, look, congratulations to Terry. Let's see what fights can be made. She's someone that can fight in 3 or 4 different weight classes. So we'll see. Matchroom finalizing Callum Smith versus David Morrell and Sabril Matias versus Dalton Smith. Matias versus Dalton Smith. I wonder if it does happen on that November card. That November card is so good, you don't really, this is me being stupid saying this, but you don't really need to add Matias Dalton Smith to it. Remember, that's the November card that has Martinez versus Bam. What else is on that card? My brain has just frozen. Benavidez, obviously, versus Yard. Brian Norman versus Devin Haney. There's one more big one that I've completely forgotten about. And it's going to bother me that. It's going to Abdullah Mason versus Sam Noakes. You don't really need Matias Dalton Smith. You can wait. There's a card rumored for December. Give Matias a bit more time. He was in a fight, man, against Alberto Puello. Give him some time to recover. Push this one to December. And maybe you then add Callum Smith, David Morrell onto it. David Morrell fought on the card that Matias fought on. This is a tough fight for Morrell. This really, like, I'm the biggest David Morrell fan. I'm thinking of making Callum Smith favourite in this one. I'm thinking I'm making Callum Smith favorite. Like, Morrell just needs a gimme. Honestly, Morrell needs a gimme. Morrell's coming off the Benavidez fight, and this fight that he had against Kataev was brutal. Got put down for the first time in his career. Like, he just needs a tune-up. And Callum Smith ain't no tune-up. So, yeah, good luck to both. It's a great fight if it can be made, if it can be pulled off. But, yeah, good luck to him. All right, Clarissa Shields attacked me on social media, man. You know, only because I said that Katie Taylor's pound for pound #1 and not Clarissa. Look, I think Clarissa's the better boxer. But I think Katie's done more because of who she's fought. That's all it is. I love Clarissa. I think she's a superstar. She had 15,000 in that arena. 15,000 against Lanny Daniels. Like, she's a star. Like, this isn't against you, sister. It isn't. It really isn't. My respect for you is through the roof. It is. I just think Katie Taylor's sort of had a better run of recent. That's all it is. I mean, if Clarissa could get some people up to 168 or 175, Shadesha Green potentially, then okay, cool, you might start catching them. But for now, I mean, Katie just beat Amanda. I mean, you know what I mean? When you look at the top 10 list, I think they've got Chantel Cameron as 5, Amanda as 4, or something like that. And then they've got Gabriela Fundura is up there, whatever, Serrano, Clarissa. What I'm trying to get at is that Katie's beaten 2 people in the top 5. How can she not be #1? Recently as well. So that's what it is. No beef, please. No beef. This how long is this video? Jesus, 21 minutes. This Francisco Rodriguez situation is crazy. Honestly, it's crazy, and everyone needs to point at everyone. Everyone needs to hold some blame here. Like, I just found out today that his last fight, this kid basically popped for something, and that fight got turned into a no contest. How did Eddie, management, and everyone not know about this? Like, honestly, like, this guy cheated last time round. And I know he declared what over-the-counter energy drink he took, but I don't know, I think there's something severely wrong with this. And now the WBC are wanting Galal Yafai to fight that guy again? Get the fuck out of here. So his last 2 fights have been turned into no contest because of performance-enhancing drugs reasons, and you want Galal to fight him again after the beating Galal took from that fight. I was going to say fucker. I was going to say fucker and guy at the same time. I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, guys, girls, are we done? I think we are done. Look, there's quite a lot to talk about, but we'll do other videos throughout the week. All right, peace.
Champions are not born. They're forged. This is about turning the ordinary into undisputed. Available now.
Ade Oladipo, brought to you by Undisputed.